Hey everybody, Johnny Cage here, welcoming you back to another game review. This time we're taking a look at Bucky O'Hare, developed and published by Konami, released January 1992 for the NES. In Bucky O'Hare, you'll play as various characters of Bucky's crew to do battle against the nefarious Toad forces. But before you do that, first you'll need to take control of Bucky and rescue your friends whom have been kidnapped and taken to different planets by the Toad Armada. It's pretty easy to compare this game to something like Mega Man. You'll start off having 4 planets to explore and find your comrades on. They sort of follow in order from top to bottom, left to right, also much like Robot Masters in Mega Man. You're also going to find out pretty quick that this game plays fairly similar to other action platformers on the NES like Ninja Gaiden and a game I recently reviewed, Vice Project Doom. All 3 of these offer the player a large health bar, which is appreciated since you are going to get hit a lot. There are also lots of subsections to each level, and even if you game over, you'll start right back at the last area you left off in. At least you don't get knocked back into pits in this one, just stunned when you get hit. The Green Planet is a great start to get your bearings with Bucky, shooting and jumping through the level. You can also hold down the fire button to charge up your power, with each character having their own unique one. Bucky, being a rabbit, has the ability to build up power for a super jump. You will also notice different green tokens strewn about levels. These can provide you with points and 1-ups, which aren't exactly necessary, but more importantly you can pick up life and power upgrades to increase the size of each bar. It is worth noting though that when you pick up a power upgrade, it will only apply to the character that picks it up, unlike the life upgrades which will apply to everybody on the team. Proceed through the rest of the stage, and soon enough you'll make it to this boulder throwing bad guy. You'll need to shoot him in the back quite a few times before rescuing our first crewmate, Blinky, the one-eyed robot. We also get a password here which you will get in subsequent levels as well. With him by our side we can take on the Blue Planet, as Blinky has the ability to break ice and stone with his arcing shot. He can also use his power to hover over gaps, though it isn't particularly useful unless you grab some power-up tokens. This level is a real step up in difficulty from the previous one, featuring these robot snakes, and this portion where you get bombarded by baddies while trying to maintain your footing on this ice block, which is progressively getting smaller. The boss here doesn't make things any easier, occasionally freezing the water underneath you, drawing you higher up on the screen in danger of running into instant death spikes. It will put your mashing skills to the test, but at least the other planets are a bit easier after this. After the boss beatdown, you'll get Jenny the cat back, able to fire mine bullets quite quickly, and can also use her power to create an orb which can move about the screen doing massive damage, though you will lose it if Jenny gets hit or the power runs out. The red planet is the land of volcanoes, featuring a section where you have to outrun lava that would make Quickman blush. It also has this trial and error portion where you have to avoid a giant green ball. Sucks when games have sections you pretty much can't beat the first time you enter them, but this isn't the last time we will see that in this game. Beating this planet unlocks Deadeye Duck, who comes equipped with a 3-way shot and can power up to climb over walls. A very situational ability, but one that you're gonna need. Our final planet, the yellow one, is really straightforward, its standout part being this fast-paced railcar section where you only have a moment or so to jump to the next cart before zooming off again. Also, be sure to keep your head low as spikes are aplenty. This boss is a great chance to get to know just how strong Jenny can be as she slips into these pockets and can just obliterate the tow tank without much trouble. With that out of the way, we get our last companion, Willie, who brought his big gun with him, able to do a good amount of damage with his regular shot and able to charge it up for massive damage. Most NES games would reach their conclusion around this point, but not Bucky O'Hare. We still have the Wily levels left, so to speak. Unfortunately, the plot ran out of ideas, so once again, literally as soon as we have rescued all of our friends, they are once again captured. Well, except for Blinky for some reason, as you'll need him to break through the walls of your cell in the next level, which also features false paths and floors that you can fall through, not to mention some Yoku block puzzles in case the Mega Man similarities hadn't hammered themselves home yet. As you progress through the stage, you will run into your imprisoned buddies, whom apparently are also hypnotized now, forcing you to beat the evil out of them before they are once again part of your party. Time to make our escape through the salvage chute, loaded with all sorts of crushers that will do you in if even a pixel makes contact with them. You also have these brain slug type things that will slow you down if they should clamp onto your head, but you can run them into the ceiling spikes to kill them off. The worst part has to be these rooms that you need Deadeye for. The lights will start flickering and then go dark for good, so I just hope you got a good feel for the layout of the room before that sets in. Once you get to the magma tanker, the game takes a page out of Gravity Man's level in Mega Man 5, featuring arrows in the background that will move you up and down, trying their best to take you out. You also have these spinning platform puzzles, which can take a moment to wrap your head around, but aren't any serious threat. After that, we finally get to the last level, hopping into an aircraft a couple sizes too small, but hey, it gets the job done. Here you'll have to contend with crazy purple knockout gas and enemies similar to the slimes before that will try to grab a hold of you and drag you down, though running into the spikes still works on them. This will take a few tries before you succeed, but could be much worse, and eventually you'll face off against whatever this thing is supposed to be. Take out the arms before having to deal with the out-of-control head spewing bullets about, which leads us right into the final sequence. Here you'll take on the Toad warship, which will kill you instantly if you come in contact with it. Just make sure to take out these 4 turrets to make this fight a breeze. Dish out some damage to the engine and that should do it, but we aren't quite done yet. We need an exciting escape finale after all, including a wall of fire eating up the back half of the screen as the vile Air Marshal closes in for combat. He does have an easy to follow pattern though, making this almost a formality. With him destroyed, we escape the Toad base and get on with our mission of saving the Aniverse. And just maybe you found this game to be a bit on the easy side, in which case you can pop the word hard with an exclamation point into the password on the start screen, and now you can enjoy dying in a single hit. Have fun with that. The controls in the game are pretty tight, you just have to be aware of how quickly everything moves in the game, which gives this feeling that you can't really stop and rest for a moment. Otherwise, A jumps and holding it down uses your power, B shoots, and the select button cycles through your characters that you have available. In the looks department, the game is very colorful, featuring sprite work that is for the most part well detailed, representative of the short-lived cartoon. You also have some big beefy bosses, which is a nice touch. Seems like when it comes to late-in-life NES games, third-party companies were really nailing down how to cram their games full of these standout visuals, and this one is a good example. The audio follows suit, featuring multiple upbeat tracks to keep you going. Makes sense we got such a strong production here, as the game was directed by Masato Maegawa, whom after this would go on to found Treasure and develop some of the best games on the Sega Genesis and beyond. These days, if you're looking to pick up a card of this one, it's going to set you back about $150 American dollars on eBay. It is, after all, a quality title that was released after the Super Nintendo had already come out, and is based off a comic book and cartoon that have a strong cult following. It is nice that the characters all have their own powers, but honestly they aren't all that useful outside of the situations where you must use them. I found myself sticking with Bucky and Jenny for the most part, as Bucky could handle platforms particularly well, and Jenny had that orb of death. The standout features here have to be the difficulty, as well as the overall length of the game. It is a pretty merciless adventure, that's for sure, and dying is going to happen very regularly. The good news is that you're quick to jump right back into the action, and in the second half of the game when it is especially brutal, there are literally checkpoints after every screen to save your progress. And while this is enough in my opinion to keep you going until you complete the whole thing, it really drains you, and I don't think many people outside of those that like the steep challenge are going to come back to this one after beating it once. The length is also notable for how long it is. Most NES games you can beat in 20 to 30 minutes once you get good at them, but this one will almost certainly take you a good hour even if you have played it before, and for those playing it for the first time, you're probably looking at 2 hours on your first playthrough. I'm going to go ahead and give Bucky O'Hare 6.5 space animals out of 10. It can be fun for a one-off experience with great graphics and music, but lacks the replayability to keep you coming back for much more. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you would like to stay posted on new game reviews as I upload them, please click the subscribe button, as well as checking out the link in the description below for my Twitch channel, where I stream most days. I'll talk to you all later on.